can be difficult to maintain one's patience with dementia residents and dementia units, especially with the constant repeating and with them being slow, unmotivated and not wanting to make an effort when you're doing everything you can to help them. So the best thing in this situation is to slow down and come at it at their level, because dementia residents are very much in the present moment. They've got no memory to speak of, and so everything is about the present and observing. They've got very good observational skills. So if you just sit with your parent and observe, watch, and then wait and see what comments they're making about what they're seeing about them. I mean, many dementia residents, especially the women, love birds. They'll spend hours looking at the birds. And even though it may well not be an activity that you have partaken in, being the busy person that you are with everything going on in your life, actually sometimes just sitting down and looking at the birds can be quite a good activity. Something you hadn't noticed having lived in the world for the last 50 years, and all of a sudden you're noticing the birds and everything they're up to. So this is the best way really to come in and be interested in what the dementia resident is interested in. Come at it from their level. And then everything slows down, everything calms down, you're there with them, they're happy that you're interested in what they're looking at, and they'll make some comment on that and you'll be able to answer because you're viewing the same thing together, whether it's the birds, whether it's the residents, the doctor, the staff. There's many things going on in a dementia unit. So, and activities. I mean, activities that interest them. I know that when I first came into the dementia unit, I wasn't that into activities really. But it was because the residents love David Attenborough and the animals of Africa. They really do love David Attenborough. So that's how I got into David Attenborough. I love those programs, everything about them, taking up the interest of the dementia residents. Similarly with the royal family, I wasn't really into, I didn't really read women's magazines, but most of the women loved the royal family, so I became interested in that. And also something I never thought I'd get into was karaoke and singing. But the residents love it. They love all the golden oldies and they like you to sing along with them. And so I started to, and I really got to enjoy that. So often you find that the interests that they have, though more low key, you can pick up on the interest as well, and then that's, double benefit. But even if that's not the case, even if the person has an interest and you're not interested in it, like at one of the dementia units I worked at, the lady there that I was working with, she was a lovely, fit, strong, wonderful woman. She'd been on a farm all her life, and she loved driving, and she loved her cars that she'd had, Morris Minor or something. And she was so into cars that when she looked out the window, rather than looking at the glorious Southern Alps, of which she had a beautiful view, she would look down at the concrete car park and the cars. And I'd come in and she'd say, well, those two cars haven't moved all morning. And I'd think, she was right. Those two cars hadn't moved all morning. Not that that's a remarkably significant statement, except that she had a very poor present memory and couldn't remember, very rarely could remember anything recent except about the cars and where they were placed and what they were doing in the car park. It was really extraordinary. So that interested me. A, that she was so interested. B, that she could remember. And I used to look out the window as well to check that what was going on with the cars, to see if it lined up with her analysis of it, and it did. So she could remember what cars were there, when, how, what, why, and all the observations around the people coming and going with the car. Not so much the people coming and going from the car, but the car itself, what colour it was, where it was parked and how long it had been there. Those details she knew. It was really amazing. Whereas recent memory loss, she didn't know anyone's name. She could never remember your name. And whether she'd had lunch or not, you know, rarely did she remember that. But the cars she did know. So, you know, it's a very variable condition, this dementia, in so many ways, and people can surprise you. I mean, you know, recent memory loss is, of course, the big problem. But even within that, some people do have ability. So you just need to be prepared to go with what's happening at the time and work with it and work through it and build on the strengths that are there and veer around the weaknesses or the losses, so to speak. So Residents' Voice and Residents' Rise, I've written about all these topics in both books, easy read, good read. So on Amazon, thank you for your viewing and likes. Please subscribe. Thank you.